anyone who would like to join.
And so how are the points transfers then actually taking place after after somebody has decided to make the transfer?
So we have built the app we built it through Power Apps, and we just attempted to transfer the points between the accounts. In honesty, if this was to be grown into a real life app being used, I would assume they would need back-end access between the banks. I'm not exactly sure how that would be done, but we simply just prototyped and attempted to do it through Power Apps. But in a real world scenario, I think that it would need access to API from banks and other businesses that are connected.
But that was not part of the design challenge.
We were just building a system where users have the opportunity to exchange their points.
Okay.
I'm not sure, to be honest, how we'd be able to connect it and show how it was exchanged. We just built an exchange system and an exchange rate in which the points can be converted.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to piggyback on Matt's comments as well. Just maybe some clarity around it. So I get the points conversion part, but you mentioned like mom and pop could sign up. Does that mean users are collecting points on the platform as well as converting, or why does mom and pop sign up so that you can convert your BMO points to the mom and pop store? So
the way we have structured it is the larger businesses, so like BMO, TD, CIBC, any bank that is partnered with the program, they would have their own points already set up within their account. So for instance, like a credit card, they redeem points when they buy gas or whatever. But for the smaller collaboration, you would be collecting points through our app. But for the larger businesses, they already have the point collection in place, and we are simply an exchange for the larger businesses. But yes, for the collaboration aspect, we are a collection and a place to spend the points for the smaller businesses that join through collaboration.
All right.
Okay, so that just wasn't perfectly clear, but it could be, if your problem statement kind of addressed that a little bit more, that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've finished up our time for questions for this group. Let's everyone give them a round of applause, I guess, virtual. And if we could get the next group setting up for 1 more minute from now.
I think
the next group will be A4.
I think that's how we clap, right?
Yeah.
Well,
you got it, Mads.
Or we can get hearts. Oh yeah, I remember this. Word of warning, if you somehow lose your browser, there's no way to save it, the judging form intermediately. So don't close your browser. I did that last
Good
year.
advice.
It was not nice. It was not nice.
So is someone from A4 here? Oh, perfect. Okay. So in about 10 seconds or so, you can start whenever you'd like.
All right. Hi, everyone. We are Group 4 presenting Zaffin's Loyalty Point Rewards project.
This is our problem statement. We need a novel horizontal approach to loyalty rewards that is safe, adaptable, and diverse. This program should target financial institutions and allow for a broad range of cross-business and business-to-customer connections.
Our product centers around the user wallet. It's a user interface to a portfolio of individual point wallets that is stored by Zaffin. This product will be sold as software as a service to banks, where the banks would then partner with other businesses. The portfolio is a database that facilitates the transfer of points in and out of the system, where points X, Y, and Z are different types of loyalty rewards programs from various retailers. The system revolves around the movements of point, where subsystems such as earning points moves points into the system, whereas a redemption of points moves them out. The transfer and exchange subsystems involve both, where a points transfer mimics e-transfer, so you can send some points to someone else. Exchange goes through the bank, One type of point is converted to another based on a dynamic exchange rate initially set by the point retailers, bank, and Zafin when the point retailers join our product. This is what makes us unique. We allow the bank, Zafin's main customer, to easily make profit off of interest on exchanges while building a horizontal point conversion system for the user. With both retailers' approval, points will be converted by the bank using their stockpiles of loyalty reward points. Zafin asked us to rope in small businesses, so to help support small businesses' loyalty reward programs, we came up with the idea of small business conglomerates, a multitude of similarly valued smaller companies that are grouped together that all use one loyalty reward point. When small businesses join our product, we would group them until they are valued the same as a big chain, where they would then work together to support each other under one loyalty reward program.
Here is the app interface. The app uses simple frame. It allows user to understand the app quickly and without any tutorial needed. Here is the app homepage. At the top, you can see the number shown in CAD that you can currently have or hold in your personal own wallet. Below, you will see the information system. And this is the CAD file. And this is the wallet where you can transfer point, where you can convert point. And here's it.
So on top of the app, we made a website, which has all the same features of the app. And this includes the wallet in which you can see your points, and you can also set goals to budget your points. It also includes the conversion section and the opportunity to redeem and purchase points. You can purchase items with the points that you have. So thank you very much, and we look forward to your questions.
Thank you, team. So judges, if you have questions.
I just had a comment about, I guess, the mobile interface. It represented, instead of points, it seemed to represent Canadian dollars, sort of implying that I could just take Canadian dollars out. Whereas it seems like the website used points. So maybe some consistency in between mobile and web. The points seemed like more of the realistic one because I'm spending points, and it can be a different dollar amount depending on the store that I'm going to. So just a comment around consistency in the interface there. And also clutch move with the 2x playback speed on the second video there.
Okay, one more if I can. So I think you explained very well in the beginning with that block diagram. It made, I think in my mind, it became clear. One thing was not so clear is how do you tie the app and the website? So what's the relationship between them? If you can explain a moment.
So ideally, the app and the website would be integrated with each other. But we ran into an issue because we can't, due to licensing issues, we weren't able to integrate SharePoint lists with Wix.com, which is the website builder that I use. So for this sake, we weren't able to actually integrate them together. But if we were to spend a lot more time with this, if we had more time, then they would be working jointly.
Got it.
I really enjoyed your design. It was very well presented and laid out. I was wondering whether or not, when you talk about the exchange rate, did you have, is it like you said that these were something that were fixed? Is there an option of selling to other users, and is that based on a betting process, or is that sort of like a stock market kind of dynamic pricing, or how does that work?
Regarding the exchange rate, that would be decided between the businesses and with Zafin. So that would be kind of behind the scenes. And regarding to points, for user to user, you're able to transfer points, and they would be kept in points. And then the user that receives it is then able to convert it how they would like to.
And in addition, the conversions are between one company's point system and another company's point system directly, because then you would have to come up with the exchange rate between every single company. So instead, they decide the conversion to CAD from one company. So it'll kind of convert to CAD and then to the point system of another company. So that's what we mean by the fixed value.
Yeah, and so if I want to exchange as a user with another user, can I do that? And
Yeah,
how
so-
would that look like?
So we were just thinking of similar to an e-transfer versus a direct send. You send 100 points to another user and they get 100 points. Although we could definitely look into a kind of a points marketplace similar to a stock market, because we are assigning each point like a CAD value. So yeah, we could definitely look into like a marketplace type.
Yeah,
thing.
that shouldn't be too difficult, and like because you have structured it so well that I think that would put in the marketplace there, and you know then the vendor would take a cut of that, right? And,
Yeah, definitely.
And simply, some people just have a lot of loyalty points that they want to get rid of in some way or the other. So companies, you know, you may not. Anyway, great, thank you.
Good presentation.
All right, about a minute left for questions. Is there one last burning question from anyone?
I just had one comment. It wasn't super clear how these mom and pops get conglomerated, like lumped in together, like what the benefit of that is, or what the potential negatives are to the mom and pop. So some clarity on that would have been good.
So no matter when we were thinking about this, it seems like no matter how you put it, the bigger companies would always have an advantage over the smaller companies, because the smaller companies just don't have the purchasing power to have that many points. So the point of the conglomerate is that they could join together and mutually and figure out a way to assign the points to their product, so that the conglomerate will get an amount of points and then they can distribute those between the smaller companies. So it makes it so that they have greater purchasing power for the points, and they can distribute them between each other.
All right. That's really great. Another round of applause for Team A4 and Team A11. If you can set up just a question for A4. Did you get those messages 30 seconds and 10 seconds? So did that help your timing?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'll do that instead of shutting anything out and disrupting your flow. So for this team, just keep an eye on the chat, because I'll drop you some hints.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, and we see your system. So anytime you want to start.
Awesome. So hi, everybody. My name is Darren, and today we're going to be showing you the Zafin ecosystem, and I'm from Group 11, just a heads up. So let's just have a look at the problem and the context of this story. So essentially there's two problems. One, that the small businesses don't have the infrastructure to grow their clientele with loyalty points. Mainly because they don't have enough money to hire developers, or any other kind of reason they're not able to expand in the loyalty program industry. And then on the other hand, you have the big banks who need a place to essentially offload the liability that occurs on their balance sheet because of the points just being redeemed and not spent. And so our niche is essentially a product that, first of all, levels the field by providing a base point system for small businesses that don't have a loyalty program. And then B, allowing those small businesses and the big banks to perform point exchange and establish certain point exchange rates between each other, and then through which the developers of the banks can implement that on their platform and essentially perform a transaction to the other side. And now, essentially, we are trying to keep it as decentralized as possible. So every time that Zafin brings a new bank or business on board, they join a decentralized network of businesses and other banks. And if the bank or business if the business doesn't have a base point system, we provide them with a point accumulation rate system. So essentially, they can determine the amount of points that a customer accumulates per dollar per each product that they purchase from that business. And then in the context of banks, essentially you have different account types. So say, I don't know, I have Knox Express, I believe here. So essentially if it's a credit card that we're kind of creating for this bank, we can come over here and then add different point accumulation rates depending on different merchant codes, like a common pattern that you see in different banks. So essentially this is just for the case if the bank doesn't have a certain like a loyalty program or a point system already built in to their infrastructure. Isaac, are you there? If Isaac is here, he can tell you a little bit more about the currency exchange rates and how the point exchange rate and how that's going to work out.
Okay, so for the points, it's like a dating site for banks. You know, they can see a list of all the other banks on the system. They're allowed to request an exchange rate between their accounts, between their account types, and how much their points they think are worth, how many points for the other bank. And then when they send a request, they can either accept or reject this request, or they can counteroffer with their own offer. And the thing that's
all right, we're at 3 minutes. Thank you.
Awesome.
So we'll get into the questions.
I have a question about the exchange. Is the exchange, each of the participants create an exchange rate to dollars, or each participant have to go and figure out an exchange rate with everybody else?
That's the thing. So exactly. So the due diligence part is now on behalf of the bank itself, because Zafin wanted to stay off of the business strategy part of things. So the diligence part and coming up with an exchange rate between one bank and the other bank is dependent on the individuals in those banks. And the reason for that is we kind of wanted to keep it as decentralized as possible. And sure, it adds a little bit of chaos, but also it gives the ability to determine the rates on their own. And so if the dollar value all of a sudden drops, or I don't know, interest rates go out or something else happens, the point exchange rate remains as is, rather than being dependent on some currency that's volatile, essentially.
So if you get like 10,000 businesses on the platform, each of them, they need to maintain 10,000 exchange rates?
Well, depending on which business they want to do business with. So the reason that it's called a dating site, sure, Tinder has 20 million users, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to match everybody, right? You have the ability to access whoever you want and then propose an exchange rate to them based on what you kind of are looking for.
Okay,
and,
got it.
Okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I see the problem there is that that you're really asking a lot. It works well for a small company that, you know, they can send a request to Canada Trust, but what if Canada Trust gets 10,000 conversion requests, right? That like that, it's really putting a lot of onus on the banks in order to do the work. It's decentralized for the client's perspective, but I think it would be difficult to recruit clients from the big banks because they have to actually have a human to sit there and analyze the request for exchanges. Am I correct?
It is going to be difficult. I understand that if you scale this into a million users, or well, not a million users, but like a million, like 10,000 different businesses, right? Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but if we went down the route to make it a static rate or come up with a valuation of our own, we kind of are limiting the businesses in their decision.
But I think you could do that as you sign on the bank, so the banks could submit one rate for that day or something like that, right? Like which would be sort of like a little bit more manageable, and for them, for the clients. I really like your problem analysis. I thought it was really well formulated because you really had this business-centric perspective with some clear definitions of what is the problems that the small business and the larger banks are doing. So I really think that based on your problem analysis, I think your solutions are fine. Practicality might be some issues where, but the ideas are there. I think it was good, great.
Just a question. So if there was hypothetically a recommendation like on our end, so essentially we did the calculation for them and we recommended them a certain exchange rate based on whatever factors that you want to put into that formula that gives you the rate, right? So would that satisfy that need that you're looking at for larger scale? So essentially we recommend an amount, but we don't apply it. We let them approve that recommended amount, and if they do, it goes into action. Is that going to satisfy that need that you saw in larger scales, or?
I believe that's a gap that should be identified by the third party, by the Zafin solution, right? Because since it is independent and agnostic, if we're using driving factors, stock prices, outlooks, things like that, then it does put the onus more, like less so on the businesses, because they're always going to rate themselves higher than an independent third party. And that will probably be more of that neutral bargaining ground that people would like as that starting point. So it's always when you're dickering, it's, you know, make the other person go first. So it's nice to kind of have like a default exchange rate that can be negotiated.
Yeah, and you know, there are also things like with Groupon. One of the challenges with Groupon was that small businesses, if they put in a sale, right, then they get overwhelmed by orders that they can't necessarily, they don't necessarily have the infrastructure to meet, right? So the small business here would say, okay, we are selling 100 apple pies for this equivalent of Canadian dollars. Then, you know, how much is that worth in for the different banks? You know, that would, I think that would be, could be some that the SAFIN could set, and then say that for this bank today, this is what it looks like. Like if there's a high demand for this particular bank to this day, the price will go up or something like that.
Yeah, for that we actually did have a solution. So essentially, you have a stop loss. If it reaches a certain number of transactions, it would cut it off. Like that exchange rate will just like stop working. So that would fix the problem of increased amount of demand on the small business when they can't handle it. There is a solution for that actually. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause for this team, and if we could get team A12 set up.
Perfect. Can you guys see my screen?
We still see Zafin ecosystem. This is group 11 still up on there? There we go.
Sorry, my bad.
Are we good now?
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, perfect.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay. So hello, my name is Catherine, and I will be presenting the Hakuna Matata wallet today, because with our help, you'll have no worries saving money and collecting points. I'm presenting, I'm respecting on behalf of Team 12. We are here, we are a group of 5 engineers, and we have decided to take on Zafin's problem of revolutionizing and democratizing loyalty programs. So our approach was focused on the revolutionization of loyalty programs. So what makes a good loyalty program? Well, the constant cycle of collecting and redeeming points is crucial in this. Most users right now tend to hoard their points or not even notice how many they have and not use them as effectively as they could. To solve this, we decided to introduce spending efficiency. So users always know how they're using their points and how they can make it better. This allows users to get the most out of their points, allows vendors to get a higher number of returning customers, and allows the system to become more beneficial for everyone involved. We also tried to make our solution as customizable as possible and try to democratize the points using a loyalty ranking system. Every vendor is ranked based on a set of criteria that the banks choose. This can be done in order to increase the amount of businesses that would be incentivized to use their program. So the banks would do this based on data analysis that they think is most important. I'd like to show you our prototype now. So we did this in JavaFX just to show what it would look like, but of course we would make this in a better UI when we continue. So as a user, you could see your current point balance, your points collected, and your points redeemed for the month, as well as the transaction history at the bottom. As I said, we have a lot of focus on the efficiency. This user is being pretty efficient. They're spending their points at about 60% efficiency. We have chosen 50 as the threshold. So they're not going to be reminded all that much. If they were not efficient, they will get reminders, and everyone gets a set of curated deals in order to increase and maintain their efficiency of points spending. We have also included a conversion calculator so that users can check how much points are worth at different places before they do their transactions. This once again is based off of that algorithm that the banks would use to rank the different vendors, and this is all done on the back end. Moving forward, we would try to make our UI and UX a little bit more enjoyable. We would connect something like Power Apps or Wix or something like that just to make it a little bit better. We would complete the functionality from our previous prototypes, which you can see in our Maker repo. Unfortunately, we don't have much time in this presentation, but things like adding more functionality would be something that we would strive for. We'd also strive to get more feedback and do additional testing in order to increase that quality of the final product. We will now be taking any questions that you may have.
Perfect. Judges, do you have any questions?
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Well done. There's a little bit too much sales in it. Like your approach was sort of vague. In using vague terms, like what does revolutionize mean? Right? And how is that an approach? So what? I understand the problem, and I think your problems are kind of well stated, but I don't understand how your approach, how that problem formulation led to the approach of revolutionize and customize. And what was the last thing?
And democratizing those loyalty.
Yeah,
points.
right. So were they solutions to your problems? It sounded more like fancy words that to me didn't have a lot of values, and I couldn't really see how. Can you describe each of those things? How does it revolutionize? How does it customize? And how does it democratize?
Yeah, of course. So as I said, Zafin was very focused on democratizing and revolutionizing loyalty as we know it. So as a loyalty user right now, the reason that it's not working all that well, or a way that we could improve it, would be to increase that spending efficiency. So we as a group realized that this is an issue, and in order to revolutionize the loyalty systems that we now know, we really put a lot of focus on making sure that users were being really efficient and aware of how they're spending their points. So that was our solution to the revolutionization of loyalty. We made sure to really have the users understand what is going on in their loyalty programs, how they can use it better, and how it's being beneficial for everyone involved. In terms of the other two, our solution was really customizable in the fact that the banks are the ones in charge of how things are being done. So all the criteria of the banking, of the points democratization is being done by the banks. So the banks get to decide what criteria are being used to rank all the vendors. And this allows for a lot of control and customization over their program. In terms of the democratization of points, this is how we decided to go about converting points. So our bank will decide the criteria. Every vendor will have a different ranking. And based on this ranking, and of course, these criteria can be changed, based on this ranking, they will get a point value assigned to themselves. And then that way they can switch between different points easily and frictionlessly. I'm not sure if that answered your question. If it didn't, please let me know. I'm happy to elaborate.
I didn't really have a question, but more of a comment. I found the problem analysis part could have been a little more clear. I felt like you skipped over it a little fast. I think what happened in my brain was now we're compounding all of these presentations, right? So I'm just kind of like piecing it together in my mind from the experience of the last ones. But what I did really like was, and I think you should have talked about this maybe a little bit more, was that efficiency aspect. I think that could be, a really cool thing for the end user. You kind of showed it a little bit, but you didn't talk about it too deeply. But that seemed like that was maybe the biggest hook in this presentation, was that new concept of efficiency.
Yes, for sure. And we do have our Maker repo set up with all of our documentation. So if you are interested in seeing how that efficiency is calculated and integrated, please go check it out. Obviously, this presentation is only 3 minutes, so we couldn't go that into detail, but it is very well shown on our Maker repo.
And I have a question. Like one of the areas that I was interested is like the vendor ranking. Who does the ranking and who maintains the ranking?
So the ranking would be done in the algorithm. So when the vendors sign on, they would have to obviously connect all their information. So in terms of like the amount of users that they have, their revenue, all this stuff. Banks would choose their criteria based on what they believe is most important in their loyalty program. And then the algorithm would compile all this information, rank every vendor accordingly based on that criteria. And then every level would have a certain point assigned to them. So they would know exactly how much each point is worth, and that would be integrated in.
Okay,
All right.
got it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
for those questions, and another virtual round of applause for Team 12. Team 14, you're up next. So if you wouldn't mind setting your presentation up.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
So whenever you're comfortable, well, our judges, are you guys up to date and have all your screens ready? Sorry if we jump in too fast. I was forgetting about you.
All right. Siobhan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Just, am I ready to go?
Judges, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. So first of all, we would like to thank everyone for being here and giving us this opportunity. We are Team RADS, and what we have for you today reinvents the concept of loyalty systems. So imagine this, we have this individual, Thomas, to give him a name, and he goes into a new store he doesn't really shop at, and he gets to checkout, and he gets the inevitable question of, do you have points with us? To which he responds no. However, he ends up leaving this store with a brand new loyalty card with only a small amount of points on it, and therefore he will never actually redeem these points. I'm sure we can all relate to Thomas. We all have an overwhelming amount of cards in our wallets with only a small amount of points on each, and therefore never get to the point of redeeming them. But think, what if there was a way in which Tom and all of us could get rid of this overwhelming amount of cards in our wallets and consolidate all our points into one easy-use platform, which gives us the ability to redeem points at the touch of a button. This is what we have created for you today. So our idea is simple. It's one easy-to-use app where all of the users' points accounts are listed on one screen. It will show them the company, as well as the points they have with the company, and then the converted rate into the Canadian dollar. The total amount of points the user has is listed at the bottom of the screen, and they can redeem these points with a touch of a button, which will send a randomly generated promo code to their email, to which they can give to a cashier at checkout, or this promo code can be pasted, copy and pasted into an online checkout by means of our Chrome extension. As we know, online shopping is becoming more and more common due to the pandemic. So I'm sure you've heard the same general idea now quite a few times, so why choose us? What makes us stand out? First and foremost, our product is simple and convenient. It, on the business end, the banks will benefit by means of commission and points redeemed, and businesses will want to sign on, as this is a great way for them to gain recognition, especially the smaller businesses. Finally, Zafin will be known as a company who introduces a new exciting software to the market. Now I'm going to pass this presentation off to my colleagues who will give you a short little demonstration of what we have created.
All right, so to begin, we'll show you our app. So it's run by Python and Kivy. So what will happen? Sorry, the screen is a bit too big. So normally there would be how many points do you wish to redeem at the bottom with a $5, $10, and $20, $50 option. They're buttons. So you'd click one $10 one, say, sorry, it's the screen's too big, but I clicked the button and it will send to your email saying, thank you for using Zafin points. Your promo code is the code, which can be used at a participating business. It will also auto-populate to the app, the Chrome extension, such like this, and it'll be appear here. I'll hand it off to Duncan.
All right, we're at time.
Okay, so it'll copy and paste into the checkout box. Thank you. We are now accepting questions if you have any.
So it's a neat idea to apply, to automatically apply promo codes, but it says a Chrome extension. And what happens if people don't use Chrome?
Well, it's just an add-on. It's not a necessity. It's just to ease the user of copy and pasting the promo code into the promo code box of a company's checkout area. It's not needed if the user simply wishes to go to their email, copy and paste the code, and then just paste it into the promo code box of a company, they can do so.
Okay.
You can also create similar things for other web search applications like Chrome or Bing and Internet Explorer. They also have similar features that you can use, so you can create one of those.
Nicely done. I did really appreciate the benefit slide, showing the benefits clearly for the user, the client, and the business as well too. That was a nice highlight.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you.
We do have time for a
Thank you.
couple more questions, so
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
maybe I could ask one. So what do you think the main benefit of your program is over kind of the competitors that you've seen?
Well, compared to the others, they do not have the option of like sending a promo code to their email or to the Chrome extension. So it's unique. It seems easier to have a promo code instead of the other options that we've seen. It's just it's similar to Honey. Like if I show you like Honey, it's similar to this where you can just auto-populate the promo code. Yeah.
Okay, so you're converting your points, you're cashing out to a promo code that is already on their existing platforms.
Exactly. So participating businesses will have this valid promo code, and similar to any other promo code, the user can just either show the promo code to the cashier in store or auto-populate it onto the checkout promo code box and a company's website.
All right. Any more questions? No, judges are good. Okay, well, let's thank this team.
Thank you.
That's
Awesome,
team
thank you.
14. So next up is team A3.
Hi. I'll just share my screen right now.
I think we just need team 14. Can you stop sharing your screen?
There, can you guys see that okay?
We don't. I think there we go. Coming up now.
Oops, sorry. There we go. All right.
3. Judges, you ready?
Pardon?
I was just seeing if the judges are ready.
Oh, sorry. All right. Hi there, my name is Amy, and today I'm going to be presenting Group 3 Zafin Loyalty Program project with Yendra. So this is our group member, Alejandro. And Alejandro has been saving up his air miles for the past year in hopes that this Christmas he could finally buy an Xbox with his points. But Alejandro has one very, very big problem. Over the past year, Alejandro managed to save 120,000 PC Optimum points and 5,000 air miles, hoping that the 5,000 air miles would be enough to purchase the Xbox. However, he just discovered that this year it costs 5,680 air miles to purchase. Alejandro is very, very upset until he remembers one very, very important thing. With Zafin, Alejandro is able to convert his PC points to air miles and buy the Xbox.
So to do this, what he's going to do is he's going to use the app. So in the app, you can see his nice friend just sent him 680 air miles. So now he's only 1,000 air miles short. So what he's going to do, he's going to go to the convert points option, and he's going to convert 100,000 of his 120,000 PC points into however many air miles that may be. And he's going to get a pop-up saying that the conversion is complete. And as you can see in the homepage, the dollar value of the points is the exact same. The only thing that's changed is the amount of each points. So now he's going to drive down to the store, activate his offer, and all he has to do is scan his individualized QR code for the cashier to scan, similar to the Tim Hortons app, if you guys have used that before.
Now you may be wondering what's in it for the retailer. Well, I'm very glad that you asked. With our platform, the retailer is able to view today's transaction page, and they'll be able to see all of the transactions from that day, including Alejandro's, which you can see right there, as well as a little bit of data just presenting that information. And then if we go to user analytics, you can see the weekly dashboard where you can view even more information about how Zafin members are choosing to spend at your store. And now just one more thing, the bank. With our bank platform, banks are able to view all exchange rate information between points, and they're also able to set them, as you can see down here. And if they press on air miles, then you can see the price. And then if we go click on it, then you can see all the exchanges from that day for air miles. And there's Alejandro's right there. With our design, we are able to offer incentives for all. We're allowing the everyday user to save some money and get some good deals. We're allowing the retailers to view important information about their clients and helping smaller ones expand their clientele. And we're allowing banks to get insight into their most profitable businesses and get a small amount for each exchange made between points. Good for users, good for retailers, good for banks, and most importantly, good for Zafin.
All right, we're at time. That was perfect.
Perfect timing here.
Yeah.
Which is pretty well done, since you spent a lot of time to present your problem. And can you just reiterate, like, how do you actually solve the problem? Like you've been very fast about it. What's the interface here?
Yep. So the main problem that we have is that smaller retailers are being left out of these bigger spaces.
Yeah.
The everyday user has a bunch of points that they're not able to spend. And pretty much Zafin wants to democratize the entire space. So what our group is doing is that we're selling 3 separate interfaces, one for the everyday user, the bank, and the actual retailer. So the bank is Zafin's client. So we're selling those 3 softwares as an entire package to the bank, who's going to be operating the entire program.
Can you show me those interfaces?
Yep. If Amy could go on the slides. The first one that we showed was the everyday user. So that's Alejandro spending his points. He's activating his offers.
Do you have it? Okay, so there's a demo. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh, if you guys like this and you guys choose to look at our make repo, there's links for our 2 Wix sites, and there's also instructions for you guys to download the app and try it for yourself on your guys' phone if you choose to do so.
Can you show it me from the bank's perspective? How does it look from there?
So that's what we have for the bank so far. So in here, they can just like kind of set the exchange rates for points, because right now we're not really sure, like it's very fluid in how like one point differs to another one. And then if they go there, then they can see all the information about the points.
So setting that point exchange rate is that pegged against something like a fixed currency, or is that they can do the individual business sort of approach?
Well, the value of each point is going to depend, and it's going to be up to the bank to set that, because it's going to depend on a multitude of factors, such as how many points are in circulation, how much can you get from one point vary to a different type of point. So at the end of the day, it's all up to the bank to set the value of each separate point.
So it has sort of the same challenges one of the other teams was brought up, right? Where you have to kind of individually go through each pairing and make sure it sits right with the paired groups, I guess.
Well, maybe, unless they do it against dollars versus against each other.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, so same with the previous presentation that had that same issue, right? Where you could peg against a fixed currency as a default, right? And then allow for overrides against certain combinations as needed. But yeah, you get into that 10,000 business, case scenario, and it can be chaos for sure.
There definitely needs to be some sort of benchmark for the range calculations exchange.
Yep. So for us, if you go back to the user prototype, we have just some approximate values based off what we could find online, and the exchange rate that we have in the user interface. You could see if the video plays. You see that we have $1 for petrol points, about 1,000 points, or $1 for air miles is about 10 points. The way we calculated that, we just looked up online, what can you buy for X amount of points, and we just did that compared to the Canadian dollar. But obviously, these are just temporary values. The bank would have to do a lot more deeper analysis and get the actual value of these points.
Great presentation. Excellent pacing. Appreciate the humor. Yeah, very well done.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give a round of applause to this team. Thank you very much, A3.
Thank you.
If you could stop sharing your screen, and A8, you're up next.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noor, and I'll be starting on behalf of Group 8. It's true that today we have many cards in our hands, but with us, you will be holding a winning one. Loyalty programs today are not simple to use, not very accessible to all. Smaller retailers don't have access to the market, and platforms are not so secure. Imagine this, an increase in product use from all, where all make and save money. Also, no need for many cards. All you need is our app and your bank card, and we'll have a lower barrier to entry for all retailers, giving them the power. Our app will include a secure interface. Retailers can manage their own point system. Bank clients can manage their rewards, and they will have access to personalized offers. Retailers will also have access to many useful resources. And finally, users have an on-demand assistant via the help center. Comparing our product with what is the standard today leads us to say that our program is just more rewarding.
We have a high fidelity UI on Figma to present the usability of the app. This is the final version of what the app is going to look like. So let's log in and verify that you're a user. Now let's say you are a retailer. Your dashboard has features to allow you to log items into your point system, set a point per dollar value, and add offers to your page, just like Google Ads. On top of that, you have access to resources and analytics to help you manage your business. Now, let's say you are a bank client. Your dashboard shows the total amount of points accumulated, as well as eligible retailers that you can spend your points at. And you're able to transfer points to anyone you want, as well as donate points to your favorite charities. And you have personalized offers on your page depending on your purchasing history.
And now for the functional aspect, first we will be seeing the login information from the retailer side. So Shoppers Drug Mart will be able to log in with their username, followed by a strong password. Here we've used a simple one for convenience sake. Once entered, a personalized dashboard is available, and here they have liberty to add and edit points. Here they pick from different categories and select points attached. For this example, we will be using chocolate and attaching 5 points to that category. We then go back through our very easy navigation and refresh retailer page and re-enter the same login information.
All right, we're at time.
I'll just thank you for listening. We'll be taking any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Judges?
what from the features that you try to think through in your product, which feature would you say is the most valuable? Like if you were to be stuck, let's say, against maybe one or two other competitors, what do you think will be your differentiation?
I think what makes us stand out is the liberty for retailers to set their own points. So we're not going down a path of converting or finding like a point dollar system. What we're trying to do is give that liberty to retailers. So retailers have a certain amount of points that they want to allocate to each product. And if I'm a user and I want to buy bananas from that retailer, I'll be able to buy that banana, but like those bananas, and I'll be able to get those points that are set by the retailers themselves. So it's more specific to retailer.
But a retailer who sells the bananas, let's say a retailer sells the bananas, do they want to get points, or do they want to get, like in exchange for bananas, do they get points or do they get dollars?
They get points. So these points are going to be given out to the users that they will be able to eventually spend on the same retailer. So let's say, because I earned 5 points from the bananas, these 5 points will accumulate eventually to be spent on other items at the same retailer.
Okay.
But how does the retailer get money?
So the retailers would be setting their own value to their own point system so they can keep up and customize the value according to their needs. And so this would basically level the playing field between bigger retailers and smaller retailers. So this way, yes.
So each retailer would have to have their own point system?
Yes. So say there's Walmart, right? If you would have a standardized point system amongst small retailers and big retailers, it would be harder to distribute the points and have the spending in a way where smaller retailers would benefit. So this would just basically end up having all the points and all the business and money go to the bigger retailers. The way we have it is retailers can set their own points, and this way it would basically bring more business to certain retailers, and they would be able to grow their point system in the direction that they wanted to grow.
But what would make a Walmart want to join this?
I think what's most important is that it encourages user spending. So the more user spends, the more points they accumulate, and the more they would want to come back to spend these points on different items available at that store.
So does the retailer have to kind of, at the end of the day, exchange their received points from the consumer with Zep? With who do they exchange? Like, how do they get the cash out? Because if I have 50 points and I want to buy a banana, I can use my 50 points to buy the banana, right? So now Walmart has 50 points. So they're able to, they have to cash that out into cash. Is that how it works?
You're not able to cash out your points.
No, but
so
me
it's
as
just
Walmart,
like,
sorry.
oh, for Walmart?
Yeah.
Like, can you repeat your question, please?
Okay, so if I have 50 points and I use my 50 points to buy a banana, now Walmart has 50 points, right? So
yes,
how does Walmart get their money? Because they don't want points, they want
you
money,
can,
right?
okay, so I understand your confusion. So retailers, you can only spend like your points at the retailers that you get your points from, if that makes sense. So for example, like at the demo, the user has the total points, and then you can check the eligible retailers that you can spend your points at. So let's say you got 20 point, like whatever number of points per dollar Shoppers has, now you have $20 that you can spend only at Shoppers.
Okay, maybe my confusion was I saw the transfer points, so I assumed that you could somehow move points around.
Yeah, you can transfer points of any retailers like to anyone you want, if that makes sense, like a friend, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's it's a platform where people can access or get an overview of all the different points programs at the same time, and they can sort of spend them in one place rather than having to log into 100 different websites. Say, if it's 100.
Yes.
So it's more oriented to a specific retailer.
Yeah, it's a centralized interface where it's easier to navigate because of the dashboard feature, and it's easier for both retailers and overall just regular consumers to navigate through the different retailers and their
All right.
offers.
All right, thank you.
Let's thank Team 8 for their presentation. And next up is A6. Group 6. Jiying. And who else do I see here?
Yeah, just a second.
Ziad.
Yes, just a second. Let me turn on the PowerPoint. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
What about now?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. So, hey everyone. Let me just turn on my camera. I'm Ziad, and I will be presenting for my group, Group 6, and I will explain how we have democratized the usage of loyalty points. So first, we need to understand what the problem is. Today, everyone uses banks and collects points, but we don't want to use points the same way anymore. We don't want points specific to just flights or the next time you go to Walmart or whatever it is. So a customer needs more options as to how they use their loyalty points, as well as safety, a frictionless experience, and so on. And so we need to develop a loyalty program that involves a secure and safe system that can democratize points and allow consumers to be more flexible with how they use their points. So what is our solution? The solution that we chose is to replace points with cryptocurrency. And just hear me out. I know this is a really polarizing idea, but there's a reason why cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin have a market cap of $1 trillion and Ethereum at $600 billion, and the list goes on. Crypto works because crypto is essentially a digital currency that can be used to buy pretty much anything. And of course, in our case, when I say you can buy anything, I say from the businesses that are working with the banks, such as Walmart, if we do get to work with them. So what we have done is we have created our own cryptocurrency and on the Ethereum blockchain, and we have created a token, which I will show you in a minute. But for now, why else did we choose crypto? Well, a lot of people would like to get into it, but don't know how or where to start. Well, in this solution, in this program, as a user, you can own your own crypto without having to worry about where you're going to get it, how you're going to sell it, how all of those things, because all of this will be managed through Zafin. Another reason why we chose crypto is because it's safe, it's reliable, it's programmable, it's secure, it's anonymous, it's unanimous, it's timestamped, it's immutable, and most importantly, it's distributed, which means all network participants have a copy of the ledger for complete transparency. So you always know where the points, or should I say the crypto, has gone. And now I will stop sharing and open the actual prototype and show you a demonstration. Now, I just want you to know that we have built two parts. There's the actual backend code for the actual crypto to create the crypto, and then there's the actual user interface. On here, you can see the code for creating the crypto along with a few functions. So for example, if I want to make a transfer, I would only put in the address of the wallet, and you can see the screen, by the way, right? The code. Anyway, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I want to make a transfer, I would put, say, for example, I want to transfer 10 tokens, and I would press transact, and it will ask me to confirm. And when I confirm, it will now pend and make the transaction. There's a few functions. For example, you have to check your balance. You can check how much crypto token there is, like what's the market cap. And as you can see, the transaction is complete. And the actual token is on the Ether blockchain, so it does work. So if you go on Etherscan to check if it's on the blockchain, you'll find that it is on the blockchain. And you'll see the transactions that are made over here. Now, this is only the back end.
We're out of time now.
Okay.
So thank you.
Well,
And
that was
maybe the questions could come from the judges on what they're looking for in addition. But thank you.
Go ahead.
Great.
So I have a question. So the good thing is that I think you're converting all the points to a common denominator, which is a cryptocurrency, which is good.
Yeah.
Because then for each business, you have to worry about one exchange rate. But I'm not convinced that it should be cryptocurrency versus a real dollar. What's the advantage of using crypto versus just using dollar? Because I'm not sure you can go to Walmart with cryptocurrency. Maybe you can with cryptocurrency today. Why crypto?
Well, if you use normal dollars, then you can use it anywhere. But if you use crypto that is specific to the bank, then you are obliged to actually use it now with the businesses that are working with said banks. So it's like the points, right? We're using it specifically with the people that we have teamed up with, but this time you're not limited by the fact that these points are just for flights, and these points are just for Walmart, and these points are just for this. You can use it for anything because it's basically money, but now you're not limited by the fact that you have to use it in this specific way, but you can use it. But this way you have loyalty to use it to the businesses that work with the banks. That's basically why you use crypto as a form of points instead of actual dollars. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see that makes sense, and in the sense that that you're limited you're limited to partner retailers.
Exactly.
So because your currency have no tangible value outside of the retail's partners, correct?
Likely, yes.
Yeah. So how does Walmart get money for their bananas? Is that something that they like say if 10,000 people they get their cryptocurrency and then they go and spend bananas at Walmart? How is Walmart going to pay for all those bananas?
Well, they would sell it back to the bank. See, crypto gains its value based on the asset base, which is found by working out the size of the market in dollars, the total transaction volume, the average network volume, and the time that a user holds a coin, which basically means the more that I use it, the higher it gains in value. And so the value is given based on the people's trust in it. And so basically you would sell it back to the bank with the price that the bank sells it, and it would cycle back to the actual users, basically.
So I would be able to sell it to the bank?
Yes, basically. You'd give it back to the bank because there's a limit. There's a limit of crypto. You don't have infinite amount of crypto. There's a limit, right? So there's always going to be.
Sure, but yeah. But if I wanted to get money, I could get it from the bank rather than to buy bananas.
Yeah, but now, see, when you use the points, when you use the crypto, then you're forced to actually use the crypto, which shows loyalty to the banks and the retailers. Whereas if I use money, then that's, I'm not using a form of loyalty, if that makes sense.
So yeah, the same problem is you can just call it a new point system, right? You create your own point system. It's not really clear about why it has to be crypto, right? Why you have to have a distributed ledger and all that back infrastructure to support it.
I'd like to jump in for just a moment. Like, there's something very appealing and attractive about crypto. Given the choice, like, I don't think anybody else is doing it. Getting the bank buy-in would be difficult, but I would 100% trade my air miles for crypto, whether it's Ethereum or a Bitcoin. I'm not going to go into the meme stocks and something, but I think you're kind of onto something there with these different exchanges. It's looking to appeal to a new audience as well too, right? So it's very interesting. I don't think it's completely fleshed out, but certainly has my interest if I was an investor.
The idea
but these cryptos are not public, right? This cryptocurrency is only valuable within the banks, right?
Well, no, but it's controlled by the bank. It's owned majorly by the bank, but it can circulate outside because it is on the blockchain, which is a public blockchain. So anyone can actually buy it, but it is the bank holds the majority. We can keep it within the niche of the bank. But the thing with crypto is the more you use it, the more it gains value. And we can set it up in such a way that if you use crypto to make a purchase, then in return for your loyalty of using the crypto, you would receive more crypto than if you made a purchase with dollars. So say I bought something, a banana, for $5, and I paid in cash, then I would receive, say, half a crypto, half a token. If I paid with $5 worth of points, then I will receive a full point. So that promotes the usage of crypto, and it also promotes the actual price. So you're gaining price because you want to gain more crypto, right? You want to gain more points for what you're gaining. And so this way,
Unfortunately, we're out of time, guys.
Yeah, so I was just gonna
maybe we
say
could
one.
continue this. Just in the interest of time, the students will remain in this room while the judges go to deliberate, but we can certainly hop out and continue the conversations just to catch up on on our delay here. So thank you, Team 6. Really appreciate you bringing crypto into this problem because yeah, there's certainly some opportunities there. So last group is A17. All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. And judges, are you ready?
Perfect. Can you hear me too?
Yep. We've got, you're good to go.
Okay. Hello, my name is Aditya Mukhopadhyay, and I will be presenting for group 17. So, the next slide. So the problem that was given to us is that existing loyalty programs are exclusive and don't allow smaller businesses to participate. Wallet 17 is a tool that democratizes loyalty points for both users and businesses by providing an accessible point exchange marketplace. So for our group solution, we wanted to focus on 4 main aspects. One was the functionality of points exchange. 2 is full automation. 3, a simple UI, and 4, bank profit. So our system allows users to exchange points for other points, redeem points for cash, and send points to other users. This allows people to choose what types of points are best for them. This solution would be sold to banks and used by people that are using these banks. This is accomplished through the use of Microsoft Power Tools, Power Apps, Power Automate, SharePoint, and all of these are displayed on a Wix website that we made. The SharePoint lists are designed to store information, in our case, which is the information of number of points and the number of dollars. Depending on, so there are 5 different lists, which are add points, exchange points, sending points, redeeming points, and also the wallet list. And depending on which list the user inputs a value into, there's going to be different sets of programs that will trigger, and the points will be moved around by adding or subtracting numbers in different lists. Now, the bank profit list is a list that is meant to keep track of all the money that the bank is making from the user on the website. Currently, the bank gains a profit by taking a percentage of the points that the user wants to exchange, redeem, or send. We're giving the banks the liberty to modify these percentages, and this allows them to be more competitive with one another. The application that takes all the lists is the flows, and in the background in the background we take this into Microsoft Power Apps. This program allows us to take the lists and flows and display them in a way that is easy to understand and interact with them. Now, the benefits. So the bank receives predetermined percentage of points per transaction and ad revenue from the website. The ecosystem partners have no capital cost for small businesses and instant exposure to large networks of end users. And the end users have the ability to share, exchange, and redeem points, and it's also free for them to use. In total, our system is made up of 11 SharePoint lists, 9 Power Apps, and 16 Power Automate flows. All these pieces come together and are displayed in our Wix webpage. Great, thank you, Aditya. So I'll be showing the live demo of the Wix webpage now. So we're going to skip the login screen for this demo, but this would be an example of the wallet where you have scene points and PC Optimum points. Each wallet has their own widget, and if you open it, you can see your past transactions as well as your totals. From here, you can access your exchange, redeem, and send functions. So we'll go into exchange. Each ecosystem partner here will have their own widget where you can exchange between different ecosystem partners. You can select them here. Similar functions exist. They're called redeem and send. In the interest of time, I'll skip over to insights.
We're done with time. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll open it up for questions now.
So maybe how is the exchange rate between points calculated and by who?
So this is determined per ecosystem partner. If I were to exchange, let's say 500 points from ecosystem partner A to B, B wouldn't necessarily see 500 points. They may see 200 depending on the exchange rate or the value that was determined by the partner. This facilitates the final calculation of how much a point is worth in dollars when it comes to redeeming them.
But who decides that exchange rate?
The ecosystem partners. So if Air Miles wanted to join, they would decide how much their point is worth compared to $1. And they can change that as they please.
Okay, so they would be able, Air Miles would say, okay, for today, 1 Air Mile is 10 cents, and tomorrow they'll say 1 Air Mile is 12 cents. Is that the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very clean presentation, great flow. Is there any additional information you can share with us about the insights? I know the presentation was getting a bit cut a bit short on time, but
yeah, so essentially the way that the bank makes money is through each transaction that's done by the users. They, as Aditya mentioned, have a predetermined percentage of cash that they would take off of every transaction. So for the insights, it's all tracked in here using a SharePoint list. The good thing about using a SharePoint list is that it can also be connected to Power BI. Not on this website, but it's a functional thing to be able to visualize them for ecosystem partners to be able to see kind of how their points are being used and exchanged.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I just thought it was a really good prototype that you have there. It looks like it's really well thought out and it can do a lot.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think that was the last presentation.